Shout out to all the broke people and the people that lived above the buildings that I was hustling in front of that called the police on me when I was just trying to make some money to feed my daughter. And shout out to everybody in the struggle. Yo, y'all about to get a scoop of a lifetime, man. I've been thinking about this for the last like 2 months, man. When I when you see the title and it says Mihawk's sword is broken, I literally mean it. I think Mihawk's sword is actually not a good sword. I think it's all busted. That's what I believe. Anyway, let's get into why I believe that. So I got the wiki pulled up right now. Okay. Boom. Now, if y'all didn't notice, a lot of these a lot of the swords, they're not black blades. You got Gold Roger, you got Whitebeard, you got Odin, you got even Venus Juro. No black blade. All these hockey monsters. Mihawk has one of the two black blades in the entire series. So let's go from the beginning, right? If you see, hold on, I'm about to pull up the picture. Where's this picture? There's a picture of Mihawk when he's a kid. Where's he at? Well, anyway, he has a bamboo sword. I already know what it looks like. He has a bamboo sword that he's practicing with. Hold on, let me look. I'm gonna look it up real quick just to make sure. Kid Mihawk. He has a bamboo sword that he's practicing with. And if you notice, it's normal size. It's not this huge sword that he has now, Yoru. It's nothing like it. Also, notice when Mihawk was younger, not when he was a kid, later on, he does have the little cross sword, the little small one. He has that. Now, when he was introduced, he had that. When he went against Zoro and just destroyed him, he destroyed him with the small blade, the small one. That's what he used. He used the big one, Yoru, later on at the Zoro earned that fight. Also, if y'all didn't notice, the little one is not a black blade either. It's only the big one. I believe that Mihawk turned his sword black. I don't think that it was given to him as a black blade. I think if he wants to, that little small one, because that's been around his neck for a long time, it's a personal blade. He could turn that one black. Also, dig this. Zoro, when he was introduced, the Wado Ichimonji, that's the sword that we think Zoro is going to turn into a black blade. It has a significance to him to him that has nothing to do with the fact that it's a strong sword. He has an emotional connection with it. I think that's part of the key that makes the black blades. All we got is Ryuma in Mihawk that have black blades. Okay, so anyway, if y'all didn't notice, a lot of the things that happened in earlier on in One Piece have been foreshadowing. Mihawk used the small blade first. I think that what that meant is it's not so much the blade itself, it's the wielder. If I'm not mistaken, he even said that to him, something like that. Oh, you got three swords. All I need is this little small one to beat you. It's the person wielding it, leading up to creating the black blade, meaning the wielder creates the black blade. That's why I think Yoru is really a piece of garbage. I don't think it's a strong blade. Look at all the other ones that was introduced, all the other Mado series blades. They all created by some great blacksmith, swordsmith, and all that kind of stuff. We don't know anything about Yoru. We don't know anything about it. So I think that it might be a toy or something like that. Who knows? I don't know. It could be a toy or something. Big meme. Shut up, Stoops. Now I'm playing. Stoops gonna run up in my building. I don't want Stoops to lay me out. I apologize. It could be a toy or something like that. I don't think it's a good sword. I think that they're gonna save it for the end. Oh, Yoru wasn't even that good of a sword, but yeah, it made it to the top based off the user. Okay, you see what I'm saying? You get where I'm going with this, right? Y'all get where I'm going? So check this out. Zoro was told, oh, so it's about the user and all that other crap, whatever. That's foreshadowing. That's foreshadowing to the fact that Yoru really isn't that strong of a blade. It's only that strong because Mihawk made it that strong. Okay? Now, when Zoro and Mihawk trained, right? Mihawk told Zoro there better not be a chip on that blade. He said that's like the worst, like the worst sin of a swordsman is having a broken blade. And Mihawk had, I mean, not Mihawk, Zoro had that. He was chipping his blades all up. Remember that? He was destroying them things back in the day. And I mean, he broke a few of them. Zoro has been going through swords. You know what I mean? So check this out. This is what I think. Mihawk was adamant about it. There better not be one chip on that blade. This is what I think. I think Yoru had more than just chips. I think it was literally broken, maybe even in half. But he has an emotional connection to that blade, just like Zoro does. That seems to be the connection. Somebody who gave him that sword might have been somebody really important to him. That's what I'm thinking. Somebody who gave him the sword must have been somebody really important to him, but it wasn't a good sword. But he took it anyway, and he wielded it because he had that connection to it. And then I think what happened is, remember the training that Goku did to achieve Super Saiyan 2? Remember, he stayed in Super Saiyan at all times, literally. That's what I think. That's how I think Mihawk unlocked the Black Blade. I think Yoru was broken, chipped up, whatever. It was messed up. Mihawk used armament hockey to make it. You could, if you use armament hockey on anything, even if it's broken, it's still a work. If I'm not mistaken. So I think he used armament hockey on it and just kept it on it because he didn't want not one chip on it, and he did it for years. And eventually, it just became a black blade. But I think part of that blade is missing, and it's just literally raw hockey. So let's say like the 2/3 of the blades is actually really a blade. The other part, like let's say the tip, that's just raw hockey. We already know you can extend hockey. Remember, ain't that what what you call him said? What's the name? Rayleigh? That was some more foreshadowing. You could see hockey like, hold on, let me see. Check this comment out. Ever since Akira Toriyama passed, they had Dragon Ball Super manga on hiatus. Did they throw in the towel on it? I heard about that, but I'm hearing that it's going to keep going. That they have somebody that was working with Toriyama that's going to actually continue the series. I hope they do. Excuse me. I hope they do. But anyway, being that I'm gonna say that Yoru was probably Mihawk's treasure, just like Luffy with the straw hat, just like Zoro Wado Ichimonji. Even though it's not a good sword, his little small blade wasn't a good one. That was foreshadowing that the big one wasn't. Also, take a look when Mihawk was training Zoro. Zoro got assaulted by one of the mandrills, and it had a fake version of Mihawk's sword. It's not a Mato sword, a Mato grade blade. It just looks like it. Who you think is stronger, Shanks or his bro? Shanks. I'm gonna say Shanks. Shanks been in the field this whole time. So anyway, there's a fake version of Mihawk's sword. We thinking that Mihawk's sword's the greatest, and then the fake one is garbage. I'm gonna say both of them are. I'm gonna say this might be the theory. This might have happened. This is my theory though. Whoever made the sword was somebody close to Mihawk, but they wasn't a good swordsmith, and they made that giant blade. And remember what I said when what I talked about when Mihawk was a kid, he had a normal size sword. He probably was given the sword and was like, yo, this thing is freaking ridiculous. It's too big to wield. The guy who probably made it was like, oh man, if you just make a bigger sword. That's what Zoro did. If I just use more swords. You know what I mean? And Mihawk probably didn't say that. I think that he probably just used a normal sword, but the person who made the sword for him probably was a close friend or whatever, was like, yo, if you just make a bigger sword, if you have the biggest sword, you're gonna beat anybody. But it was garbage. But he wanted to protect it just because out of maybe like the dude maybe got knocked off, might have been deleted or whatever. You know what I mean? So he probably was fighting with a fake sword. I mean, with a broken sword that got chipped up because it was a bad sword anyway. And they just powered it up with hockey for years. Literally sleeping with hockey on. Think about that. Emotional connection, hockey. And we know you can emit hockey, remember? So he probably lengthened the blade with just raw hockey, and eventually it just stayed like that. I'm going to say that either the blade's either all chipped up, broken up, whatever, but it's filled in with hockey, or it's actually a piece missing. There's actually a piece missing, but being that's a great black blade now, it just stays like that. It's just, the hockey is just staying. It's just literally just hockey. See that? See, it makes sense, right? Now, what's his name? Mihawk is going to be the only one who's at the top who has a blade that's actually garbage, but it's really actually good just because of the person who wielded it. That's what it's going to come down to. That's the theory. I'm going to say that the sword is actually garbage, but it's given to him from somebody important. He was real adamant about not breaking swords because the sword came from a friend or whatever. Not only that, if you break it, obviously it's done. But in his case, he was so powerful and was so good at armament hockey that he was actually able to turn the sword black. He's the only one that we seen was able to do it, or that we think was able to do it. And then I think Zoro's probably gonna be the next one to do it. And if it mirrors Zoro, it makes sense that it was given to him by somebody important. I'm gonna say the person who made it was just like, yo, just use a big sword and you'll be able to beat everybody. That's my theory. The sword's broke, but Mihawk is just that freaking good. I don't think there's gonna be a story about some great blacksmith, some great swordsmith that was able to make the best sword ever, and it just happened to be giant. I'm gonna say it was a terrible swordsmith that made one that was unwieldy and it was like freaking huge, and he was like, yo, I can barely even use this. And he had to just level his game up and work with what he had until he made it the greatest sword of all time. Anyway, let me check the comments out. Okay, for the boss man. Yo, Super Savage is one of the greatest people that ever lived. Always will be. He always has been. Okay, what's going on, Almighty Goku? How I've been getting destroyed, man, lately. But I'm finally back to working. So that's good. I feel like I'm gonna actually ascend in life right about now. I feel like I have some potential. So that's good. Even though things been messed up all the way up to this point, I think things are going to get better. So I'm actually excited right now. Okay, East Blue Drew, what's going on, man? My Knicks beat Ja tonight. I'm chilling. uh you love them left-handed players, man. That them if he's East Blue Drew's a real New Yorker. The fake New Yorkers, they be like, ooh, I like Nets and the Knicks. If you're a true New York fan, you only like the Giants. You only like the Knicks. You know what I mean? You only like the Yankees. That's how that works. Okay, Halloween King. Not a far off possibility. Mihawk could make anything work. In his character, when he first started off, he used a little small crossblade. He said he was disrespecting Zoro by using it, meaning he can use any blade. He can use a butter knife. He can use a butter knife. So guess what? Yoru might actually be any old knife. It might actually be. Who else uses a sword that freaking big in comparison to their body size? Obviously, there's a sword in Elbaf that's freaking the size of the country. But compared to their bodies, I think he's the biggest. You do have Law. His is freaking actually pretty big, but it's not to the point. It's not to the point that that you can't wield it. You know what I mean? Mihawk blade, you probably just can't even wield it. Okay, things could be worse. You could be Diddy. If I was Diddy, things would probably be better. You know what I mean? Things could probably be better. Okay, Almighty Goku says screw the Jets. See, told you, that's a real New York fan. They're like Giants, baby. They're like Jets. That's New Jersey. You know what I mean? They're gonna be like, that's a Jersey team. Okay, East Blue Drew. Nah, Nets can go back to New Jersey. East Blue Drew, I got some news for you. The Nets are really a New York team. They really are. They started off in New York and they just couldn't stay in New York. So they transferred over to Jersey, basically the next best thing. So they really back home right now. But they still a secondary team. That's the stepchild team. Okay, 2025 and Mean still the illest. Bro, we about to get even better, man. Way better. It's not even a game right now. I'm gonna go hard in the paint. Okay, the Marine dude had a big sword. Okay, T-Bone. Oh yeah. Let me look up T-Bone. I know there's other people. You know what I'm saying? Law got a freaking huge sword, but I think Mihawks is the biggest in comparison to his body. T-Bone, One Piece. Let's see. Yeah, he got a big. No, his sword is not the size that in relation to his body, his sword is nowhere near as big as Mihawks. Well, I don't know about nowhere near, but it's not as big as Mihawks. Mihawks is still bigger by a good amount. By a good amount. Law's is I think might be bigger compared to his body. I think Law's sword is literally his height. You know what I mean? Mihawk's sword is not his height, is it? It's close to his height. It's around his height. You know what I mean? But it's way thicker. And the hilt is freaking huge. Okay, it gets worse. It gets better. It gets worse. It gets better. Yes, Stoops. It's gonna always but it's gonna get better from here on out. Okay, your Eagles won, me. I know they tore Philly up, man. I'm right in the eye of the storm. I live in Center City, so they destroyed everything around here. Okay, they did it to make you proud, then destroyed the city to celebrate. Yes, absolutely. What do you think I would have done? I told everybody, I said, as soon as the Eagles win, people are gonna start purging in them streets. And guess what they did? They purged. Okay, we go hard like an elephant tranquilizer. Exactly. Yes, studio. Okay, T-Bone was a big dude. Yeah, I know. The sword's not that big. It's not as big as in relation to his body. Remember, we got the sword on Elbaf that's literally the size of a country. It's the size of a country. I'm saying in relation to the size of someone's body, Mihawks is the biggest. You know what I mean? Meaning it's the most unwieldy unwieldy sword. Okay, Big Mom family member, girl with the big hat had a big sword. Hold on, let's see. Mihawk. I mean, the Charlotte family's swordsman. We're gonna find out. Hold on. Let's find out. Can't see. All right. I gotta look at these. I gotta look through all these people. Okay, where's that? I don't see. It's a girl. Okay, Charlotte Amande. No, hers is small. Okay. His is small too. Smoothie, hers is small. Oh, Crackers, his is big. He got a big sword, but yo, Cracker's sword might actually be bigger. Cracker's sword might actually be, but I still think Mihawk's is big. No, because Mihawk's got the hilt. Mihawk has the hilt. So yeah, Cracker's sword is close. Mihawk's is still a little bigger because he has that giant hilt and he got the giant handle. But Cracker's really is really close. Cracker's sword, I think, is bigger because Cracker, I think, is way bigger than Mihawk. I think Cracker is a lot bigger than Mihawk. So the sword is bigger. Yeah, Cracker is 10 feet tall. His sword is about 10 feet tall. Mihawk is like 6'5", something like that. Sword might be 7 feet tall. You know what I mean? But in relation to his body, Mihawk's sword is still slightly bigger, I think. Yeah, but yeah, I forgot about Cracker. Cracker's sword is freaking is crazy. Okay, let's see. Strusen. No, his sword is small. Okay. Puree, whatever her name is. Where's her sword? Okay, I gotta look up a damn sword to see how big it is. We looking to see how big these swords is, man. We gotta find. I'm sword measuring. You know what I mean? I don't see any picture of her sword. Look up images. They don't show her sword. Big Mom's sword is freaking big, but it's not that big in comparison to her body. You know what I mean? That's what we're talking about right now. Damn it, I can't even see. Okay, I don't even see her sword, so you must not be talking about her, because otherwise we've just been able to pull it up. Okay, I see another girl. Her sword is not big. You said it was a girl. I don't see in the wiki any girl with a giant sword. Cracker has the big sword. Cracker's sword is freaking huge for his body size. Okay, this dude got a big sword. His name's Charlotte High Fat. He's got a big sword, but still, it's not as big as in comparison to his size, it's not as big as Mihawks. Okay, you got Charlotte Kato or Kato. It's a Kato. See, he's holding a sword, but I can't see how big it is in relationship to his body. It's thin though. Like Mihawk's sword is a lot thicker. Mihawk's sword's a lot thicker. So matter of fact, we ain't got to worry about him. Okay, Charlotte Captain Crunch. Remember Charlotte Captain Crunch, Charlotte Nusorte, whatever his name is, Nusorte. He's got a big sword, but in relationship to his body, actually, because he's a little dude, though. I think he looks like a little dude, or he could just have one of those weird bodies that One Piece characters be having. It still ain't as big in comparison to his body as Mihawk, but it's not far from it. Let's see. They don't have his size on here. Yeah, so there's a couple that's close. No, not that guy. There's a couple close, but I think Mihawks is probably the biggest. If he's not, he's like number 2 or something like that. Arlong had a giant sword, but his sword is not that big in comparison to his body. If you compare it to Mihawk in relation to his body size. Okay, I think yeah, I don't see anybody that I that jumps out at me. I think Mihawks, in comparison to his size, has the biggest sword. Yeah, but Cracker's is close. Cracker is close. His sword is actually bigger because it's 10. Well, it might actually be bigger, even with the hilt. It's close though. It might be a little bit smaller because that hilt's freaking huge. Mihawk's hilt, that cross guard, the guard, it's freaking huge. So yeah, his sword might still be slightly bigger. Okay, never talk about the size of another man's sword, man. We sword fighting out here, man. Everybody was sword fighting. Those swords were fast as lightning. She had a big hat and smoked Newports. I don't remember that. I don't remember. Okay, a lot of samurai blades over medieval blades. How about Kiros? Kiros, his sword wasn't that big. Not that I remember. His sword wasn't that big. Let me Google search this real quick though. Yeah, his sword is not that big. What you call Mihawk sword is bigger. I was talking Amanda. Okay, I know you. That's why I pulled her up earlier. Hold on, where's she at? Now, if you look at, if you talk about swords that can transform, Spandam's sword can turn to an elephant. It's actually bigger when it's in the when it's an elephant. It's way bigger than Mihawk's sword in relationship to his size. Same thing with Shamrock. Shamrock's sword's freaking huge when it turns into a Cerberus. Okay, let's see. I think I already looked at her. Charlotte. Yeah, I know you talking about. Her sword's not that big. I'm looking at her sword. It's not that big. It's pretty long, but in relationship to her body, it's not even her height. It's shorter than her. Mihawk's sword is like maybe even taller than him. I think it's taller than him a little bit. It's like 7 feet tall or something. Okay, Whitebeard blade is legendary too. Yeah, but it ain't a black blade. Okay, why we glazing Mihawk? I know he's going to get folded soon, kidnapping Marines and stuff. No, Mihawk ain't going down until Zoro takes him down. Okay, mean rich homie Quantum died. You made me say the D word, man. I know it's late, but I haven't seen you lately. R.I.P. Shame what happened. I know you liked him. I mean, yeah, but he wasn't like my favorite, nothing like that. I don't know. I don't know where you get this from. But yeah, I did like him. I listen to his songs now. You know what I mean? But anyway, go ahead and leave your comments, like the video, and subscribe because I can't eat. I'm broken. You got the power to change that. Peace.